Go. See ya!
If you're not out shooting and competing, you are a collector, and this is your invitation to not be a collector. This competition gathered 93 competitors on a day that was below freezing, and we all went on a 4.5-mile trail. If you're not familiar with how running guns work, don't worry, I will catch you up on the way, but largely you go along a predestined course somewhere out in the wilderness, and you shoot a bunch of stages along the way. Stage 1 immediately had your face in the dirt, trying to shoot with your rifle canted 90 degrees to the side. And if you've not shot that way, one of the big lessons learned is that cool guy, super high, height over bore, it's not very good for this type of shooting. For this style of competition, a standard 1/3 co-witness or something along those lines is a really good height to go with. And also, if you're not familiar with it, shooting sideways means your reticle's no longer going to work the way it was intended to anyway. You're going to have much more of a feel of where you're going to impact. And fortunately, these were shorter, so being able to hit your target was not that hard. But at further distances, 200, 300, 400 yards, shooting sideways, that's probably its own video and own skill that you have to get really good at. For me, where I struggled was the targets being so small. I should have zoomed out and back in a lot more to maintain better situational awareness. But speaking of situational awareness, arguably my worst thing I did this whole stage was get this tunnel vision, and I'm looking down the range and completely missed this target right in front of me.
Right, unload, show clear. Make that face again, please.
That was dumb.
Contrary to my face and my initial reaction, I really did like that stage a lot. I enjoyed that positional shooting, and I think it's one of the keystones in running guns where you have to shoot in situations that are ones that you would not see typically on a flat range. Some advice for your chest rig, and if a backpack is what you want to wear or a camel pack, make sure that it's tight. You should be able to breathe, but also be able to jump around in it without it bouncing very much. And unless you know that you can carry much less ammo for sure, I typically recommend about 120 to 150 rounds of 5.56 and about 120 rounds for 9mm, maybe a little bit less. And those that think it's too little or too much, I'm glad that you had the experience to know what you need, and you're probably not a collector. One of the most surprising things about this stage was that these tank traps are not very steady. So when you put your rifle down and you pressed into it, the whole thing would tip over. And that really threw, I think, a lot of people off. I know one person almost fell over with the whole thing. And that's one of the things that makes these even more difficult is the environments are all new, the targets are all new. You've never got to go do a walkthrough of the stage and feel it out. If you've noticed also, my gun almost has no recoil on it, and that's because of this Hollywood 2.0 brake by Stoner CNC, and it really helps with not only being able to see your impact, but being able to drive to that next target and get those quick follow-up shots. You're really going to see it on stage 6 on how it shines. About the 1 mile mark, we hit our third stage.
Ready.
Stand by.
With all the water, sand, mud, you'd think that these scope caps would end up being really useful, and honestly what I end up doing is forgetting to flip them up before we go on a stage. So stay tuned to see if I end up keeping mine at all. I don't think that they're as necessary as they seem to be in my head. This stage required a lot of movement, a lot of switching back and forth between your rifle and your pistol, and I think that really plays into my next piece of advice, which is ambidextrous controls, which really come into play because there are stages like this that force you to reload, or simply you run out of ammo and need to reload. And because you never know what position you're going to be in, being able to operate your pistol or rifle from any sort of position, primarily I'm talking about the rifle though with the ambidextrous controls, it will save you somewhere along the line.
Oh, what in the world? My sling.
Unload and show clear.
Inevitably, along with the walls, somewhere along the line you're going to be crawling along the ground too. We've done quite a bit of rule number 2, which is double tap, but rule number 1 of a zombie apocalypse is cardio. In these events, roughly 40 to 50% of your overall score generally ends up being part of fitness and endurance, and it is pretty much required in order to be a top competitor. That being said, I don't want anyone to be discouraged if you can't go out and run 4.5 miles or 3 miles or 7 miles, whatever the course is. A lot of people end up walking or hiking anyway, so get out there regardless. But if you do want to be competitive, mix up how you train. You want to be doing sprints and running up hills and repeat miles, 5Ks. You're going to end up getting better results in your overall score if you vary your training. And gee whiz, on this one, I actually would have been okay as a competitor if that target would have just fallen over the first time I hit it.
Unload, show clear. I got smoked by some small one.
I don't know why shooting out of vehicles is so fun, but it absolutely is. And once again, I was talking about the ambi controls. It is tight spaces like this that they really shine. This stage required you to shoot targets that were forward of the car and then off the passenger side of the car, get out, and then shoot them again from the rear of the car. And I feel like I had a slight edge up because I shoot wrong-handed. All the right-handed shooters had to shoot from inside the car offhand. But I was actually a little bit slower shooting off the rear of the vehicle when I had to shoot right-handed than I did from inside the vehicle.
Hit. You're done.
A little bit more traveling through the woods, and I highly recommend trail running shoes with hiking pants. They are ideal for these competitions. We are now almost 4 miles into this, and on this stage, this was the one I said that the Hollywood 2.0 break was absolutely awesome. I have a link down in it below, and you can see that I'm able just to keep moving from target to target like I'm shooting a 22. It is a fantastic break, and I universally recommend it for anyone that's wanting to shoot in these type of environments. You're going to see here in a second, one of my struggles was these plates would swing and spin, making it very difficult to hit them. If you have a Texas Star or a spinner or any sort of target that moves where you have to time your shots, they will practice on that. It will be very beneficial for competitions like this because these type of targets are not unheard of. In fact, they're quite common. This last stage is kind of like a steel challenge. If you're not familiar, it's kind of like USPSA, but hitting a lot of steel. But remember that you're 4 miles in, you've been shooting, you've never seen any of these targets before. It makes it harder. We've been out in the cold for quite a while. We've been using our lungs for quite a while and crawling through things. So shooting while you are a little bit fatigued is worth training as well. And you will definitely get that experience doing the running guns where now that you're exhausted and you're not just primed, ready to go because it's now your turn to step up. It's one of my favorite things about the running guns is that it requires you to be able to shoot well in suboptimal conditions.
How bad was that?
Oh, that was pretty good.
Those swinging ones. Oh, sorry.
Hammer down and holster. Yeah, when they flip like that, it's a little tough.
And we finish off with getting to the finish line at about 4.4 miles. Guys, I respond to every comment that I get in any of my videos. If you have questions about these events, where to find them, pieces of equipment, ways to train, I will absolutely respond. And if I can't answer it for you, I will give you a source to it. I also recommend looking up Pseudo Actual. He's got some great videos out there too and covers a lot of area. And I'd appreciate your feedback. First of all, with a thumbs up, it does something with the algorithm. It's really helpful. Share this with a friend that you think might enjoy an event like this. And let me know what you want out of the videos, what I'm missing out on or what I should focus on or not do anymore. Background music was a big one that we got rid of. I do all the filming, shooting, and editing myself. let me know what I can do. I will do my best to make these more entertaining and more valuable to you guys for learning about this type of shooting, tips, just being able to see the trail and prepare for the next event if you're going to it. Thanks, guys.